know that moment when the phone rings and your first instinct is to let it go to voicemail? Or when someone knocks at the door and instead of answering you freeze, hoping they'll just leave? If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. And no, you're not turning into a grumpy recluse. It's simply a part of aging. As you get older, you might notice a growing desire to be left alone more often. And though it's rarely discussed, this shift is completely normal. In fact, it can be a healthy response. When you were younger, social interactions were a constant. At work, school, with your kids, on the bus, or at the store, people were always around. You got used to it, maybe even depended on it. But as you age, things change. It's not that you dislike people, but your need for constant socializing lessens. You don't crave it in the same way anymore, and that's okay. It's not selfish, antisocial, or strange. It's rooted in psychology, a well-documented and logical process that reflects the natural evolution of your social needs over time. Reason number 1. As we age, our tolerance for trivialities diminishes. In youth, we often tolerate bad friends, gossip, and unnecessary drama. However, as we accumulate life experiences, our capacity for such nonsense wanes. Psychological theories suggest that older adults become more selective in their social interactions, prioritizing emotionally meaningful relationships over superficial engagements. This shift is not a sign of bitterness, but a natural progression towards self-preservation. We learn to recognize and distance ourselves from emotional noise, allowing us to conserve energy for what truly matters. This phenomenon is rooted in the psychology of aging, where individuals become more attuned to their emotional needs and less inclined to engage in unfulfilling interactions. Thus, the desire for solitude and meaningful connections over casual socializing is a healthy and logical aspect of the aging process. Reason number 2. As we age, our priorities naturally shift. We begin to ask ourselves questions like, how much energy do I have today? Who truly uplifts me? Who drains me? This change isn't about becoming antisocial. It's about seeking peace and emotional fulfillment. The desire for meaningful conversations over small talk and genuine connections over superficial ones reflects this transformation. If the right people aren't available, we might prefer solitude to forced interactions. This isn't loneliness, it's a form of freedom and wisdom. Psychological research, particularly Laura Carstenson's socio-emotional selectivity theory, explains this shift. As we perceive our time as limited, we prioritize emotionally meaningful goals and relationships. This leads to a more selective social circle, focusing on those who bring positivity and understanding into our lives. It's a natural and healthy adaptation, allowing us to invest our energy where it matters most. Reason number 3. The third reason for seeking more solitude in later years is often rooted in grief, a profound and sometimes surprising factor. As we age, we inevitably experience losses. Friends move away, loved ones pass on, relationships fade, and the social circles we once had shrink. Each loss chips away at our social world, and for many, this shrinking happens gradually, almost unnoticed. Here's the subtle truth. Some individuals choose not to rebuild their social networks. This isn't a sign of depression or giving up. Rather, it's a deep recognition that time is finite. With this awareness comes a shift in focus, prioritizing quality over quantity in relationships. It's the soul's way of saying, I've loved deeply, I've lost profoundly, and now I seek only what feels truly safe and meaningful. This inclination aligns with the socio-emotional selectivity theory, which posits that as people perceive their time as limited, they become more selective, investing in emotionally meaningful relationships. Therefore, desiring solitude isn't about isolation, it's about creating space for connections that are genuine and fulfilling. Reason number 4. The fourth reason is something many feel but few name: social fatigue. Not just tiredness, a deeper emotional exhaustion built up over years of managing personalities, navigating group dynamics, mediating conflicts, and playing host. After a lifetime of these demands, even a short social interaction can leave you feeling depleted. A one-hour lunch with an overtalker may drain you for the entire afternoon. A family gathering filled with overlapping conversations can feel like a cognitive marathon. So you begin to choose differently. You prioritize rest over obligation. You guard your peace like it's something sacred, because it is. Contrary to common assumptions, older adults aren't always lonely. Many find deep contentment in solitude. But society rarely embraces this truth. We're told connection equals constant company. Yet true connection sometimes means simply knowing yourself without distraction, enjoying your thoughts, savoring quiet moments, sipping tea in silence. That's not avoidance. That's growth. That's evolution. Reason number 5. As we age, a profound shift occurs. We become more attuned to our true selves. This heightened self-awareness leads to a natural inclination to protect our emotional well-being. We recognize what energizes us and what drains us, and we make conscious choices to prioritize our peace. Engaging in superficial conversations or spending time with individuals who don't align with our values no longer holds appeal. Instead, we seek meaningful interactions that resonate with our authentic selves. This isn't about avoiding others. It's about embracing the freedom to curate our social experiences, ensuring they contribute positively to our lives. It's a testament to the wisdom gained through lived experiences, where quality takes precedence over quantity in our relationships. Reason number 6. As you grow older, your perception of time shifts dramatically. What once felt limitless now feels precious. In your 20s, an hour may pass unnoticed, but in your 70s, an hour is gold. You're more intentional about how you spend your time, who you share it with, and how it leaves you feeling. Every conversation, visit, or favor comes with a cost, not just in time, but in energy, so you invest it wisely. Often this means choosing solitude, not out of dislike for others, but out of respect for your own well-being. This shift might puzzle those around you. They may say you've changed, become distant, or lost your spark. And they're right, you have changed. That's the point. You're no longer here to entertain or accommodate everyone. You're here to live authentically, to say no without guilt and yes, only when it truly matters. You haven't come this far to keep others comfortable. You're not rude, you're real. And the older you get, the more sacred that becomes. Now, let's dig even deeper, because this shift in social behavior isn't just about protecting your time or avoiding stress. It's also about clarity. There's a kind of mental sharpness that comes with age. Not in the sense of memory, but in awareness. You start to see through things faster, the fake smiles, the flattery, the one-sided friendships. You don't need a three-month fallout to realize someone's not right for you. One conversation can tell you everything. And that awareness can be exhausting if you're still trying to play the social game. So instead, you step back. You simplify. You let go of the need to explain yourself. You stop justifying why you left the party early or didn't return that call. You no longer owe people your presence just because you used to. That kind of self-honesty can feel like isolation from the outside, but on the inside, it feels like relief. Another part people don't talk about enough is your changing capacity for emotional labor. You might have been the peacemaker in your family, the go-to friend, the one who always reached out first, kept the connections alive, made the plans. But after decades of being the glue, you begin to ask, who's holding me together? And if the answer is no one, you slowly step out of that role, not to punish anyone, but to stop betraying your own needs. You trade people-pleasing for peace of mind. And yes, some people might fall away when you stop carrying them. But the ones who stay, they're gold. And let's not forget the body's role in all of this. Physical aging affects your social behavior too. You may tire more easily. Loud environments might be overwhelming. Your joints ache. Your back needs support. And suddenly that 2-hour dinner with 5 people doesn't sound like fun. It sounds like endurance training. That physical strain mixed with mental fatigue makes quiet time feel like a gift. So you adjust. You decline more invites. You prefer early afternoons over late nights. You design a life that fits your body, not the other way around. There's a layer we haven't even mentioned yet. Identity. As you age, your identity changes. You're no longer the parent of small children. You're no longer climbing the career ladder. You've retired. Or maybe you've shifted your lifestyle entirely. And with that identity shift comes a social shift. The people you once bonded with, fellow parents, co-workers, younger relatives, they may not feel as connected to you anymore. Not because you've done anything wrong, but because your lives no longer mirror each other. You move into different rhythms, and that's okay. You're not meant to hold on to every connection forever. In fact, letting go can be one of the healthiest things you do. Because what you make space for, those quiet mornings, the phone call from the one person who really gets you, the long walk without having to perform for anyone, that's the stuff your soul actually craves now. Less stimulation, more meaning, less noise, more depth. It's not about rejecting people, it's about refining your circle, and that refinement can feel lonely at first. But eventually it becomes a kind of clarity. Some people will never understand this. They'll say, "You used to be so social," or "Why don't you come out anymore?" And you might struggle to answer because how do you explain 1,000 quiet realizations? How do you summarize decades of growth in one polite sentence? The truth is, you don't owe an explanation, not anymore. You've earned the right to disappear into your own peace without guilt. And here's something that might surprise you. This shift in behavior, this quieting of your social life, it can actually extend your life. Studies have shown that reducing stress and protecting your emotional health are key factors in longevity. When you avoid toxic conversations, when you limit overwhelming environments, when you choose serenity over obligation, you're not withdrawing, you're healing. You're preserving energy for what matters, and your body knows it. That's why so many elders seem calmer. They've stopped trying to impress anyone, stopped trying to fix what can't be fixed. They walk slower, but their minds are clearer. They talk less, but when they speak, it matters. They're not running from people. They're running toward themselves, toward the version of themselves they were too busy to meet before. There's a quote you've probably heard. As I grow older, I pay less attention to what people say. I just watch what they do. That's what aging does. It teaches you to observe more and react less. You no longer need to prove anything. You no longer chase the approval of people who never understood you. You start choosing peace over pride, solitude over forced connection, truth over tradition, and it feels good. Now, here's the beautiful irony. When you stop needing people around you all the time, the right ones start showing up. You stop begging for connection and you start attracting it naturally. You no longer force conversations. They just happen. You don't schedule companionship. It finds you. And those few people who remain, they become priceless because they love the quiet version of you. The real version, not the one who showed up to every event, but the one who shows up fully when it matters. So if you're finding yourself more withdrawn lately, more selective, quieter, don't panic, don't second guess it. Don't let the world tell you something's wrong. You're not broken, you're blooming. You're peeling away everything that doesn't serve you. You're not becoming less social, you're becoming more you. And that's a kind of joy that can't be faked. Maybe your calendar's empty this weekend. Maybe the phone hasn't rung in a few days. Maybe you spent your afternoon doing absolutely nothing with a peaceful heart. That's not loneliness, that's arrival. That's what it feels like when your life starts fitting just right. And if this message felt like it understood you better than most people do lately, then don't let it be the last time we talk. Subscribe to the channel. We're building a quiet little corner here just for folks like you. No noise, no pressure, just real talk, soul deep stories, and the peace you've earned.